Totally. Why don't we kick it off? So then happy Monday. Jodi, thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
This is our daily kind of Chorus briefing. And the original idea of this was just that there's so much data. You live in data. We have market insights. And I feel like a lot of companies are trying to figure out right now, like if sales teams are still engaging, are they still selling? And so our objective of this session was really to kind of bring those insights out there and kind of let people realize that people are still selling. But you were just mentioning how lucky we are to get to do the work we love. I'd love to hear more about that. How do you think
I just, I mean, it's like, there's people we can sell, people, they say you can sell ice to Eskimos. That's great. That's a big compliment. But it's so much more fun if you're selling ice to people on the beach. And I feel like you and I both work for companies that really provide value to a customer. And it's fun. And I mean, I see it in the results. My reps, we have 85 plus reps, almost 100. They're working longer and harder because they know they're providing value to businesses.
Yeah. So Jodi, I didn't introduce you, but you are head of sales productivity at Bill.com. And are you out in Denver today?
I am in Denver in my home. We are in the same state that California is. So I've been here
How are you holding up on just the quarantine? Just how are you holding up on the personal side?
I have an office. I'm fortunate. I have an office in my home. I work from here every other week and I fly every other. So for me, I'm getting, a little antsy being on the ground and not being in the office. I get my energy from being around the sales reps.
Sure.
But other than that, it's business as usual for those of us who have worked remote for a while.
I think that's right. It's funny. I kicked off my day today with our team out in Tel Aviv, 7 a.m. And just the concept of how location has become democratized, where we're just all on the screen right here. Our remote offices feel closer than they've ever felt to the home office. Yeah. So fun stuff on that. Why don't we jump into a little data and talk about that? So let me quickly jump in here. I'm going to share our core stats today. So again, we've got Jodi Maxson, head of sales productivity at Bill.com. And why don't we look at the first set of data here? So Jodi, what we saw, I've been curious all week to see how this week would come in at the week of March 23rd. What surprised me last week is as we look across all the calls and meetings happening, that our productivity across the sales industry has been holding steady. You'd expect as we've all moved into our remote situations and with just the challenges that we're dealing with personally, that it might drop significantly. And it hasn't shown that. Are you seeing similar patterns?
I'm seeing the exact same thing. And even, I think ours has gone up. Again, we're fortunate. And I really feel blessed that I don't have something that makes it harder to sell. I have a tool that's even more needed right now, as do you. But the first 2 weeks were a little rocky. I noticed our productivity did go down the first week or two. Zoom was being ever so wonderful, helping everybody, school kids, and so we had a little bit of a technology issues and then also some educational issues, with the reps who have never worked from home. But this last week has been up.
Interesting. Well, let's look at, so what was interesting on the numbers, it looks like everything's just the same. It's flat week over week, which is quite remarkable, and kudos to the industry. As we do break it down into the different segments, this is where it's a much different story, where certain segments are really carrying, are seeing a huge lift up, and others are unfortunately really having a much more challenging time given the circumstances. So overall, companies are down 6%. From kind of the baseline, kind of pre-COVID-19 and the impact that we saw. But week over week, to your point, as a whole, they bounced up. So it was a 4% lift. We were down 10% last Monday. Now we're only down 6%. So people are starting to embrace and just get into the circumstances. Project management collaboration still up significantly. So basically, people that are enabling us to work at home are seeing big demand. Infrastructure dropped this week. We saw a pop last week. So that's one that we could dig into, and we'll be talking to some folks in infrastructure companies, but there was an initial spike. Something was a little softer this week. And then security, with everybody working from home, we've seen a big push for how to get the endpoint secure. So continuing to see an increase there. And then HR and hospitality have both seen significant downturns on that side. So that's kind of high level. And one more click into this. And this gets into, I'll start with fintech. So would Bill.com live in the fintech category?
Definitely, we live in the fintech category. We help businesses handle all their AP digitally. So fintech is where we sit.
Nice. I've been a customer of Bill.com in my past and a huge fan. So wonderful service. It matches, you mentioned that you're seeing a bit of an uplift, and we're seeing that in the fintech, up 5% overall and 15% week over week. Anything special about last week? Is it other than just kind of getting the technology working?
I think we settled in. I think for the first 2 weeks, you would have seen a decline for us. I haven't seen the data, but that would be my prediction. I felt it. Headsets not working, computers not, our infrastructure not quite ready as much as we had tried to plan. And then based on cities too. Some of us, have worked remotely for a long time, so it's business as usual. But when you take an inside sales org or, you take an accounting firm that hasn't really adapted and changed all of their customers to, their workflow. And so it took a hit, but this last week we saw it up quite a bit. And for me, I think it was just getting used to it too.
Interesting. So Jodi, with your focus on sales productivity, what are you doing differently, or how are you changing the conversations, or what type of guidance are you giving the team in terms of what the conversation looks like today in these times?
Now more than ever, it's really about helping the customer. We've been preaching solution selling, don't just push your product, find out what the customer is dealing with. And now more than ever, it's easier to drive that home. I think one of the hardest things for me is we have a new hire class coming on in a week that we're going to be training 6 new sales development reps just to get us some of this support, and trying to train a young team completely remotely. I guess it's no different than what you guys are dealing with, or anybody with kids, school learning. So it is trying to be as effective as possible and engage people remotely like you can in person. And the conversations are really, it just drives the point home. What are you, Mr. Customer, dealing with? How can I help?
I think it's right. I was funny. I was just talking to our people ops team just before this.
Right.
They're spread across the different offices around the world. And just the question is, we're having the same conversation. If you're used to seeing people come in the office and you say hello and you engage them, how do you do it today? And my question always is, if you were invited to a university in the next 3 months talking about how you did it, how you reinvented everything around this time right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that we're trying to do? What is that new thing that people say, wow, you've reinvented the way we connected, and just how do we test that in so many different ways right now?
It's about connecting using technology. I mean, remember the old days? I don't mean to age you as like myself, but the old days was,
right.
Technology is going to replace it, that we don't have to do face-to-face meetings. And, they were sadly mistaken. We do. And now we can use these face-to-face meetings, and we can learn to feel connected. Like you said, we're doing stand-up meetings. We're doing happy hours. We're doing them remotely. I had a family meeting last night with, 15 of my immediate family members. So what we're doing in technology is matching what we're doing in our personal lives.
Jodi, on the productivity, sorry, go ahead.
I think we're learning to connect differently again.
Same thing. I had the big family happy hour. I've never even done that before. Remarkable. I am curious on the BDR side, when you think about the talk track and just out there trying to build new opportunities. And sometimes people will say, are you really calling me at this time? Like it's a uncertain time, and it's hard to start new relationships. Any thoughts for those out BDR teams right now?
Yeah, there is. The Bridge Group did a study, and they Sally Doobie launched it in their blog last week about outbound calling is down. And, I have to say that we have seen a bit of a decline in the connect rate of our outbound calling. But if you are calling somebody to truly offer help, and that is the tone, people are looking for help. My brother, we happen to sell through the accounting channel. my brother-in-law runs a small firm on the East Coast. And he said, you know, I'm concerned. I'm telling my kids they can't go out anywhere, but yet I'm having people bring in all these papers to me and, you know, I'm going to go home with this. And so I said, well, you know, maybe now is the time to look at what you guys were pushing off until later. So it's not just about Bill.com and what we can do, but it's truly, you know, like you say, learning how to reconnect and do business differently. If I called you and I told you I could help you, Jim, connect better with that Tel Aviv office, or what could I do to help you spread your day out? You know, some of the things that we're doing, we're working earlier in the morning to connect with one location and later in the evening. Well, maybe you need to run and do some kind of exercise in the middle.
I totally agree. I think that the authenticity of a BDR right now, and just all of us outreaching out to customers, I'm outreaching out to customers, but to really, truly feel passionate about solving those problems. I enjoy that aspect of this right now, the realness of just,
me too.
You know, not as much of the drip, not as much of the automation.
Right.
It's just more about, I'm really am reaching out from a weird office I'm in.
Yeah.
Because I think I can help you. And I really want to help you. And so I love your energy.
And that's coming across.
One last question for you. What advice would you give to other go-to-market leaders, sales leaders, customer success leaders out there right now? You know, just given where we are, any other tips and tricks?
Have a little patience with yourself. As you can tell, I am a bundle of energy. The first week I was like ready to kill myself just because nothing worked the way I expected it to work. So what I would say is take a laugh, you know, sit back, and you know what? It's all going to come out in the wash. It always does. And, you know, 20 years from now, we'll be telling great stories about this. And I would say just relax. And not that it's not serious, not that, you know, it's not urgent, especially, you know, now, but relax and do what you can. And it's the best we have to give.
I like that feedback, because you never know what the heck's going to happen. So you got to appreciate, you know, right now of all times.
Yeah.
Well said. Let me end on a quick poll. We've got a good group of people on, so I'm just going to throw this up there. But the question of today for the live group is, where do you expect to end Q1? We're in the final day and a half here of Q1. So where do you expect Q1 compared to target? And I'll just see where folks chime in here. So right now I'm seeing 50% say up slightly, actually, which is positive. So where do you expect to end Q1 compared to your target? 25% say about the same, and about 25% down slightly. So, you know, in general, I mean, this has been the key to this is that, and I'm going to end this real quick. I think, Jodi, my take on this is that if you don't look at the data and you don't talk to folks, you'd think that this is a time to not hire new salespeople. This is a time when people are freezing. And I think that if the conversation you and I are having today helps some other person continue to hire a person who's not employed, or to buy their team more time because they are out there selling, things are up, then I think we're helping. And that's the whole point of this.
It's awesome. Happy to help. Love working with you guys.
Thanks, Jodi. Well, hey, have a great Monday. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Do the same.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.